The Amazing Digital Circus. Since you're watching this on YouTube, chances are you already know what the series is all about. But if you don't, The Amazing Digital Circus is an extremely popular indie animated series created by Glitch Productions, and it's quite popular for a reason. Content farms aside, I love The Amazing Digital Circus. It's a catchy theme song, the storyline is intriguing, the character dynamics as well as their designs are great, and speaking of character designs, each one is particularly very unique and very eye-catching, and it makes me wonder about what everybody's lives were outside of the digital circus before they came in. So let me go ahead and take you through my theories as well as my personal character designs of what I think each character looks like beyond the Amazing Digital Circus. And episode 4 practically just came out, so I'm particularly very motivated for this. First off, we'll start with the world building and what I think is going on within the digital circus. My theory is that the world of the digital circus is a video game, specifically a virtual reality game that has been stuck in beta testing and sucked into human players who have volunteered to test it out. In episode 1, Pomni states that she put on a headset before suddenly appearing within the world, so I'm going off the assumption that everybody else did the same. I'm also basing this off of the premise that all of the players, the characters that we love, all signed up to be beta testers for the game of the digital circus, not knowing that the game has gained sentience and has trapped them all inside. The first character we have will be Pomni. On the easier side, Pomni practically already has a human-like design as a girl in a jester outfit. For Pomni's story, I would see her as the newest hire for the game company, or someone who may have been tricked into testing out the game. It might be self-projection here, but Pomni canonically being 25 means she's more subject to a quarter-life crisis like most people in their mid-20s get, which could contribute to how anxious she is, as well as how demotivated she is to roll with the flow with Kane's shenanigans compared to the other characters. A bit desperate to keep this new job, she would willingly participate with whatever the company needed her to do, which would include being a beta tester for this virtual reality game in the works, which is how she ended up in a digital circus. I picture Pomni to have a more comfy type of attire. She would be one to typically have a favorite hoodie and beanie that she would wear practically every day, which would translate to her digital circus character being unable to take off her hat, though I'm sure the same will apply to everybody. Similarly to her jester self, she would have dark hair and lighter skin, basically almost a direct translation but with a more natural appearance, and here we have our human Pomni. Next up we have Rakatha, and she's similar to Pomni in which her design is humanoid as well. Basing her design practically from her ragdoll self, I'd give Rakatha her red curly hair, and I was on the fence whether or not to give her a prosthetic eye or an eye patch for that button, but I decided to go without it since according to Gooseworks, Rakatha can still see out of her button eye. Seeing that she is well collected and a mature character who looks out for Pomni and other characters, I can see her as being somebody who wanted to assist the game's developers on being a beta tester even if she's unfamiliar with games and not really much of a gamer herself. I see her as somebody being open-minded, but also somebody who's a bit afraid to say no to things. Her people-pleasing tendencies being her downfall, as that would probably be the reason how she ended up being in the digital circus. The clothing that she would wear is a bit plain but professional, and I see her as somebody who likes to sew or mend her own clothing as well, which I resembled using the patches to kind of mirror her dress, and that's our design of human Rakatha. And for anybody who did want to see her with an eye patch, I got you. Here it is. Now Jax is the start of the more trickier design, seeing that the rest of the digital circus cast is non-human. I really wanted to capture Jax's smug attitude and color scheme with his human design, and I also wanted his hair to resemble the rabbit ears versus an accessory like a beanie or hoodie, both characteristics that I already gave to Pomni. I also envisioned him on being pretty tall. I wanted to keep his iconic pink overalls, but also complement it with a purple sweater to match his rabbit skin, as well as little patches to kind of decorate it a little bit more. Seeing that he's the youngest digital circus member, it makes sense to why he would be the most antagonistic, if that's the right word. The sheer sarcastic energy of a young adult, probably one who didn't care too much about his day job, being entertained by riling up his co-workers. It's no wonder why he feels so nonchalant, careless, and quite frankly, a pretty big jerk to the characters as well as in the eye of the audience. But a complex character like Jax is really intriguing to me, and I know that there will be definitely plans with his character in a central episode to sway the opinions of the general audience. With that being said, here's the final design of human Jax. Gangle was one of the trickier designs, I feel. Initially, I really wanted her to have a short bob type of hairstyle to match the shape of her mask, but with two female characters already having short hair, I wanted to provide a variety, so I decided to give her very long hair. I also decided to give her white hair to match the mask as well as her hair being decorated with red ribbons. I also wanted to show her roots to indicate that her hair is dyed, kind of resembles a little bit of Heisei from Tokyo Ghoul, probably inspired as an anime fan herself. She'll be on the cuter side, anime inspired based off of her interests. Gangle is actually my favorite digital circus character, and with the latest episode we got to see a little bit more of an insight to her character, being an artist at heart but forcing herself to stay within her day job as a shift lead at a fast food restaurant. I can see Gangle wanting to be a beta tester for this game in order to escape her reality and cope with her struggles through escapism. I could also see her maybe thinking this would be an opportunity to help her resume as an artist, being able to help with the development of this game, but unfortunately it ended with the circumstances of her being trapped there. With that, here is our human Gangle. Zubo, I knew immediately I was going to have a lot of fun with their design. I really wanted to combine both masculine and feminine features to their design to match their identity, while also trying to incorporate a lot of different clothing articles to come up with fashion that doesn't entirely make sense or go well together. This is mostly to parallel their experience with the digital circus, with every part that they come across not feeling exactly right. The same would apply in real life with the human self, in which no article of clothing can truly make them feel like they can formally express themselves. There are also tattoo artists before the digital circus according to Gooseworks, so I incorporated tattoos into their design as well. Similarly to Gangle, Zubo would also have used the internet as well as digital properties as escapism, which could eventually become ironic when they end up in a digital circus only to feel yet again those same feelings of being out of place. Zubo and Gangle's stories also being really similar could also kind of support a little bit how close they are within the digital circus, as they can relate to one another. And that is our human Zubo. Our beloved father Kinger, I feel, would definitely have to be the main developer of the digital circus when it comes to this concept. Kinger and his character within the contents of episode 3 are what initially inspired me to make this video, very specifically the scenes in which he states he underwent 7 years of computer science just to end up this way. It's been mentioned that Kinger has been here the longest, hence the first character to probably end up at the digital circus with Queenie, with the potential of testing the game together. Being within the digital circus seems to have caused the characters to forget who they were within the outside world, or for Kinger, seeing that he had his wife with him, retained a lot of memory about his past, and being in the darkness has been helping him through it. And I think as a human, Kinger would have been a very kind-hearted man who would have wanted his creations to bring joy to others. I do see him as an older man, and probably somebody who wanted to be a father. I'm not too sure if he and Queenie plan on having children, but I do know that he does have these paternal tendencies, as he is shown to take care of Pomni. How things will end up in the end, that's a story that will unveil itself as time goes on with the digital circus. And with Kinger, that marks the last of the human designs of the Amazing Digital Circus. The story of all the members may be unlikely, but that's what's fun about theories and headcanons. Some of you may be wondering, hey, why aren't Kane and Bubble in this video? Well, that's because these two are initially from the digital circus itself, and I believe that Kane, intentionally or not, is the one that's actually keeping all of the characters in, with Bubble as his assistant. I do know that Kane means well, since all he wants is for the others to enjoy his adventures, but I can also tell, just like the other characters, Kane is slowly losing it, and I wonder what would happen to our beloved optimistic host if he is the one who will gravitate towards the abstraction territory. I initially wasn't going to make this video, but I'm very glad that I powered through it to have something to share with y'all. This was a pretty short video for me to express my excitements about the latest episode coming out, but I'm very glad I was able to draw this as I wait patiently for episode 5 to come out. Please let me know which design was your favorite in the comments below, and with that, until next time.